2, 1. So, first rebuttal here, first and foremost, rebuttal. So, government assumes that it's going only to be performative, that this conservation will only trickle down to one species at most, and it's going to be non-tackling about the issue. So, three layers of rebuttal here is, number one, biodiversity also get affected by externalities. So, what do I mean by it gets affected by externalities? We mean to say, conservation issue for a single plethora of species or single plethora of individual animal can actually help out in bridging out the gap between the environment and resources for such animal needed to survive. Ergo, what that happened here when the dramatization and the feminization of Philippine eagles and Philippine pawikans happened in the Philippines, whereas because of this prominence in pop culture, especially in social medias back then, and protests, what happens here, there become an incentivization for the government and for the people for better local protection of such animals. It happened, and I'm going to extend it later. So even if it's still going to be performative at best, and even if it's going to be trickle down only to one animal, it trickle down to mostly on first one animal, it's still going to be worth supporting because it's practically a start of something. Because you cannot assume environmental conservatism and environmental protection upon a vacuum. It needs a better optics and it needs a good way to start, and it's one of the most way is the prominence of it through pop culture and social media. E.g., what happened in the axolotls when accepted. Hello, I'm going to tie it back to my speech later. So, e.g., when Minecraft had actually placed the map Axolotl in its game, a lot of visibility and curiosity around Axolotl actually increased. And Minecraft as a pop culture game had actually increased awareness towards children and normal gamers towards what happened to the Axolotl. There's two mechanisms that make it happen. Is number one is attachment to emotions. Because, seeing some animals as emotional or something you can relate to actually gives us far better, more connection towards the animal, which incentivizes people to, share experiences with them, share what they thought, and share what should be done for such animals. Therefore, removing human apathy, and I'm going to, go back to it. So I'm going to flip them now, their first main argument of rebuttal, because even if there's still going to be, even if it's going to be performative at best, the flip here is number one, this performative actually sparked a lot of media conversation and societal expectation on what happens to animals. Because, the Philippine eagle and the Pawikan conversation and even the axolotl conversation doesn't happen in a vacuum. And even the conservation of Philippine crocodiles and other conrillas didn't really happen under a vacuum of, we wanted to become environmentalists. It happened with a one catalyst, and that is the exceptional animals. So first and foremost, what happens then they're given prominence? So there's going to be far more optics on such animals, e.g., more people now know about the prominent animal, and it gives an attachment and wonder of such animals. E.g., like what I extended earlier, what happened with the axolotl in Minecraft, because gamers and even people reading articles about axolotls on Minecraft, and even people reading literature about Lolong and the wonders of the animal kingdom of the crocodiles, what happened here, they became attached, they became curious, and what happened here, because there's became prominence of them, it actually led to far more people giving out more interest on protecting such animals. So what would animals would happen in the status quo? So while animals are in general treated with apathy and are generally seen as either pests or with lesser care as domesticated or exotic animals, e.g., raccoons, squirrels, and bears, etc. And not all of them are protected by law, or there are protection on law, but that's not good that much. Whether they appear to be dangerous, people hunt them to keep themselves or their home safe rather than rehabilitate the animals. So what's the difference between exceptional wild animals without a prominence in pop culture? These exceptional wild animals without a pop culture will only stay within a vacuum. Ergo, they are going to be only known in a specific vacuum of local community. Therefore, the burden of protection and conservation is most likely going to fall on their bench. Because these exceptional animals, whether a species or an individual, so it can be a species of axolotl or the axolotl species as a whole, or an individual Philippine monkey eagle or pawikan, is going to be a cultural icon. Ergo, in the Philippine status quo, the Philippine eagle monkey is viewed as a prominent and exceptional wild animals regardless of their size. And what happened here, because there's prominence and far more media optics, there became far more better protection and conversation that's happening. So this is why it's going to be worth supporting. So number one, it counteracts the apathy of human person towards wild animal because it acts as a form of protection toward both exceptional and normal wild animals. So that's how does this happen? It is important because in status quo, there are fewer wild animal protection mechanisms, and with the support, there is an incentive mechanism for a law and policy and conservation practices, e.g., capybaras and axolotls species, and even there are now researches in conservation practices done towards animals, e.g., Philippine sea turtles, Philippine eagles, bears, and even the other animals that are almost extinct. It happened because a lot of people talk to it to social media, and social media is a good way to amplify information and emotion because social media and pop culture, especially in books, movies, and TikToks, there are a lot of people going to have a share of what's really happening, and it pushes far more accountability. So how does this practically happen? It pushes far more accountability because they're going to know that a lot of these species are in danger. Because let's be honest here, Chair, prominent media such as TikTok doesn't show about the goodness of the wild animals or how big they are. Let's be honest, a lot of documentaries also in pop culture, BBC, wildlife also shows the struggle of such animals. What happened here, because there's going to be an exception or optics for that wild animal, there's going to be farmer support for them. So what does happen when there's going to be farmer support on them? Meaning to say there's going to be an optics for their own species, meaning to say whether they are exceptional or not, in order for more hopes for such animal to consume or spread more, they're going to be far more protected because people are going to be incentivized to protect their local nature and their own environment because they wanted more of it. So next here is how it will trickle down to other biodiversity. This is going to be an externalities because when there's a proper healthy wildlife and a proper healthy support for wildlife, other animals are going to also benefit from it. Ergo, when Philippine monkey eagles are getting tried to be rehabilitated, and by you ensuring there's going to be hunting laws, other animals also got protected by hunting laws, e.g. tarsiers and etc. Therefore, we end my speech here.